Okay, welcome back YouTubers, gunners, and subscribers. This video specifically is going to be made for two things: fuel line routing, coolant routing, AN line fittings, how to work with them, how to install them, how to look for good routing. I'm going to show you at least on the EK, EG, DC2, give or take, you're going to run your fuel lines around the same way. So I don't want to complicate this vlog and start talking about the throttle cable or the emergency brake cables. We're just going to keep this one short and sweet. It's going to be coolant and fuel. Save this video. Let's start working. All right now. All right guys. All right, so all right guys. Yep, all right guys. All right, so okay boys. You got something to say, 40?
Yeah. Hi.
First thing I'm doing is getting my fittings onto my radiator. This is a common radiator everywhere now. It's a basically a tucked radiator. I mean, Speed Factory makes it. I think Chase Bay makes it. PLM makes it. A whole bunch of people make this kind of tucked radiator. So 45 degrees goes on to the thermostat housing. I don't know why I have two things in my hand for no reason, but it is what it is. So right now I am just going to look for the best possible position, for none of these hoses to be kinked, right? So I'll loosen up here and make this swivel a little better. I like that. So it's going to go 45 degrees to this 90. So give or take about right there. We're going to get real close to this fan. That's all we can do. So I'll take one side of my hose. You know what? I'll show you an even better way. Let's make this hose right away a 90 degree. So I'll take off this fitting. So that way we can get a real accurate reading. Not only that, but we know that this hose is going to be sealed to this fitting. So I'm not going to cut this side. I'm going to put it onto the 90, then measure how much I need for this 45. So let's get this 90 on this dash 16 hose. So what I have here basically is WD-40. This is going to be my lubricant. This is going to make everything easier. It's not going to let this hose bind up, start to look ugly. Here I have these magnetic AN clamps. You can pick them up on Amazon for like 20 bucks. I've been using this set specifically for maybe 3 years. You can kind of see where it's starting to wear out. Just like that. I'll take it. So on this side it's magnetic. It tries its best to hold itself in place. Use that. First thing we're doing here is we're going to lube this fitting. You're clear? Mm-hmm. I want to be as clear as possible, make everyone's life easy. So right there. We'll turn that in there. We'll make sure everything gets lubricated. Correct? I'll take the straightest part of my hose, which is right here, and I will twist left. It's reverse thread, some of these fittings. So you'll start to see like almost like a thread inside of the back of the fitting. So now what I also want to do is I want to start threading until that rubber hose part is right before this actual thread. Sorry about my nails being dirty. It is what it is. I work. Watch your back, sir. Okay, reverse thread left. It's coming up. I wonder how many people have made AN videos. Probably hundreds of people. I'm just going to try to explain it as easy as possible. So right about there. See that? Beautiful. Now, those little rough edges that you've seen, didn't matter. Now it's nice and clean. Look at that. Correct? Perfect. We're going to take this guy here and we're gonna help it from the thread on. That's it right there. From the thread on, guys. So feel that centering. You're gonna feel this go into that pipe, into that hose there. If you want to pause, you already know what to do. Right there. Feel that? Did you see that? By hand, turn as much as you can. By hand, turn as much as you can. Try your absolute best to stay away from this clamp and using these. We all are scared to start scuffing our stuff, so my only suggestion is try to use that minimal. If you can finish this whole thing by hand, guess what? It's sealed. I wish. I hope so. Okay, so I am getting to the part where I can't turn no more, correct? Into here. And we're gonna bring a nice snug fit from these clamps onto the actual fitting, and I don't want to sit this flush because I don't want to end up scraping this fitting. So now I'm centered, I'm good to go, I'm in place. I'm gonna tighten up. I'm gonna take this guy here, much easier to use. It's a little beat up, but it's fine and nice and easy. So if you try to go too fast and it skips, that's when you're going to get those nasty aluminum scratches. And you don't necessarily always have to have this fitting touch this base. You'll know when it's sealed up, and I feel it already about to start skipping. So what I'll do is I'll take it back off. I'll go right here, and then I'll tighten as much as I can with my finger, and I'll turn again. I feel like it's about to skip on me, so I'll just go a little bit slower. I'll keep my eye down here because I don't want to scratch anything. I want this to look beautiful and clean. So we're almost there. A little bit more. And what I want is also, I want this to line up too. So we are almost finished. This wrench is kind of beat up. It's about to skip. Right there. Not bad, right? Take a microfiber, clean that off. How clean does that look, Seb? You could see like my marks are here, but it cleans up. Excuse me. Nice, okay? So we're gonna get this 90 onto the radiator and then figure out our distance to that 45 on the swivel of the thermostat. Thank you. Guys, bear with us with the fan. It's humid as hell in here, okay? So we have our hose, 90 is here. Get this marker out of my mouth, pause. Okay, so I want to help this fitting kind of move around to be a little bit easier to thread on. There it is, right there. Okay, so when you're doing this, yes, by hand as much as you can, and then your stopping point is going to be where your line moves. So it's about to stop to where I need an AN to tighten it. There it is right there. So I have a little bit of tension on it. I'm going to move this hose up, and now at the same time, ladies and gentlemen, this stuff flexes, believe it or not. It moves left and right, back and forth, whichever way, correct? So when I make this hose, I don't mind it being slightly baggy. So if you take a look right here, Seb, we have our mark from under. See it? Okay? So we're gonna go to, basically you wanna close this, right? And you know that you wanna be somewhere in this vicinity for the hose. So I like to kind of go like almost halfway, just a little bit less, because I know that that fitting is gonna do its job and I'm going to get it inside. Pause. So I will measure, give me a second. Let's see. I'm just trying to factor if that 45 is gonna move, because down here is no good. Right here is great. I like that. It's away from everything. And then now I'll go to the just past the middle, right there. So that's my line. I'll take it back off. I'll cut this as clean as possible. You can tape before it. I'll show you guys how I cut it. And then we'll take that fitting off. We'll add it to the other side, and guess what? Thermostat hose, bottom of the radiator to thermostat, will be done. So Seb's gonna hold up his end, give or take. It's right about, let's make it a little bit longer than that. Right there. So I'll take black tape, and I don't have to go crazy. Done. One time around. I'm going to get my cutter, because I usually like using these clamps, but it's not big enough. So these would be, pause, these would be good enough for like dash 12, dash 10, dash 8, 6, and so on. Look, if I try to cut this, I'm going to make a mess when I'm finished coming down. Pause. So what I'll do is, I'll take a cutter like yonder. I'll hold it as tight and as straight as possible. Pause. Sorry guys, I can't miss these pauses. I'll hold it as straight and tight as possible. I'll cut that tape right in the middle. Let's do it. Keep it going. Hold that for a second. And this only takes a few seconds. Slow and steady. You don't have to rush this part. So the main thing is that you hold it tight, Seb. So from the fitting, okay? I have it here. That was a terrible example, guys. You know why? My blade's too short. So this kind of wore down. It should have been a lot easier. But I got a whole bunch. I'm fine with this. Okay. Now, very important. This stuff right here is going to be in your fluids. Okay? What are we doing? Just run that through there. Again, so when you're doing fuel lines, see that? Nice and clean. That was going to be in there. Now my hand is nice and clean. So when you're doing your fuel line stuff, that's how you actually clog up your injectors. The old, rubber that's been cut off. So now, pretty much take a microfiber here, as clean as possible. Just wipe everything down. Work nice and clean. Always work nice and clean, because the results are there. Look at that. That looks like it came that way, but we made it right now. So clean here. Same concept. Let's swap, Seb. Same concept. Lube. That's nice. Let's lay that right there. Just help it as much as you can. And remember, it's reverse. So push on and then twist left. See that? And dash 16s are some of the hardest lines to make, believe it or not. So the bigger the line, the harder it is to make. Like dash 6s, sometimes I don't even use wrenches. So this one needs a little bit more love. It's almost there. Just a little bit more, you see? Just a little bit more, guys. We're almost there. How long's that clip?
It's a long one. It's a good one.
Yeah, a lot of information. I need to put gloves on because this is starting to hurt my hands.
Make the 5-minute mark. Come on.
It's getting there. Oh, God. My arms are sore. Okay. Right before the thread. Perfect. Other side of the fitting. Did we leave it on to the thermostat? We did. Be right back. Same concept, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to give everything some love here. Everything. Okay? Into the hose. You'll see its center. Right there. See that? That was nice. That was perfect. And now we got a little bit of leverage here. Again, as much as you can by hand. Okay, that's as far as I can go by hand. Correct? We'll go right here, nice and easy. Button that guy down. Let me see my luck with this new wrench. So I like to buy these new when they get to this point. But this one, for some reason, always been good to me. Let's try this one. Mark it. Make sure you're on the thread. I'm at 16. Raise it up a little bit and turn. This one's much easier to use. One more turn. I like that. I like that a lot. Done. Let's go test it. 45 degree is on. Thermostat. Leave it slightly loose so we'll be able to turn this around. This harness jumped back into my way for some reason. We'll leave you up there. Okay. Now, if we measured correctly, that 45 to this 90 should lead to the center of this. And then now we can move this. This is exactly why. Perfect. So. I'm there. There it is. Damn, it's humid in here today, right now. What the hell's going on? I can't wait for the winter, man. I hate the summer. It just makes everything harder, the heat. There it is. Again, I want to do everything as much as I can by hand because I do not want to rely on those wrenches. And I am finished, ladies and gentlemen. That's done. There's not going to be a kink, and I can move this like that. Look at that, even better. I could probably bring this down. Perfect. Look at that, Seb.
What do I think about Aki's ravings? He's absolutely right.
So 45 degree off the swivel. This guy moves left and right, but I want to leave it right there. I have absolutely no kinks in this line. You have any kinks in your coolant line, expect air pockets, expect overheating, expect failure of a head gasket. Coolant, take it serious. You should be driving around at the most 185 degrees. That is operating temperature. Anything under, car might run lean. You ever notice when you first turn your car on and it's cold, it needs the fueling to warm up, but you floor it and it feels a little faster? It's because the car is lean. So double check all your coolant lines and make sure you got no kinks. So bottom line, dash 16, finished. It looks even better from the top, that bottom hose. That's a smooth transition with no kinks. So here, you would think, Aki, you're going 45 because you want to aim down. Why do you have a straight on here? I'll tell you why. Thankfully I had this straight. What I'm trying to factor in is everything in this area after this hose is finished. So, if I use a 45, I am going to be too close to that intake, whatever one that June is going to put on this car. So in order for me to go up and make this hose work, it would be like that. That's terrible. That's not going to work out. Because that hose is going to go like that and almost block the throttle body. So I can't face it this way. That makes no sense, right? How's the hose? I can't go down. That would be awesome. I can't go this way. So thankfully, I don't know how I had a straight dash 16 here, but I had it. Good thing for spares. Dash 16 straight, I think, gives me better chances. So I face that here. I'm going to tighten as much as I can by hand, right, folks? I pretty much know that I have to go down. So I am going to go like this and hopefully have a nice smooth transition. So first thing I'm going to do is take this hose here. I'm going to put the 45 on this side, and this line is actually too long. I'm going to end up trimming this side, which is all messed up, even better, right? Take this fitting, put it on here, and then work my way to the measurements to this fitting. 45 degree fitting on. Got a nice smooth transition going down, pause. And if you come from this side, Seb, pause. Look at that shot right there. Nothing's in the way of the throttle body. So now when he wants to make his intake, they can make a nice intake going around it and it being completely out of the way. 45 is on, it's facing down. Now, always remember too, when you're measuring these lines, rule of thumb, make sure this is tight all the way. Don't leave no threads that you could see on the fitting that you're using the 16 or 8AN, 6AN on. Make sure that this is fully threaded on. Look, this is fully threaded on so we can get the correct clean measurement. Also, if you would like, you can do one of these too. What happened here? You can take the back of this fitting off. You can go like this, okay? So we know that we want our hose to be here. So you can go like this, okay? Now that's too high up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it back a little bit and I'm going to measure right about yonder. got my line, right? Take this fitting off. You know what some people do also? And it's a little bit messy, but it saves you a ton of time and it makes the fittings last forever. You put a little touch of anti-seize right on this thread, and this thing will move so freely onto any fitting. So we have our mark here. We need to cut that and then attach that dash 16 straight. Okay guys, I want to fix something that I made a mistake on. Russell fittings are reverse thread. This specific vibrant fitting is the correct thread. It's not opposite, so it's to the right. So push that there. I made a mistake and told you it was reverse thread, like twisted to the left. Those are Russell fittings, not vibrant. See how much easier it is to turn? Watch. See it go down? I'm almost there. That's it. That easy. I apologize, guys. So to the right, not to the left, with vibrant fittings. I know that some of the Russell ones are reverse thread. Even some of the, what is it, Evil Energy Seb, that's called. Pretty good fittings for China stuff. They're affordable. I use them all the time. I got no knock against them. I'm cheap, man. I'm cheap. Alright, back in here. I'm gonna wait for it to center. That easy. Again, as much as I can by hand. Beautiful. That fitting is in already. Now, why didn't it go down further than that by hand? My hands are greasy. It's great. Let's take this guy here. You guys are learning how to use AN stuff. You guys are learning how to do your own coolant. Now you guys can get even nastier, and if you want to change up some of your other lines and start making stuff AN like a vacuum hose, you know how to do it. The power of knowledge, sharing it. If you don't share it, what good is it? Most people don't want to teach you this stuff because they can't charge you for it. Right or wrong, Sebi?
100% underrated thing on a build, man.
Very underrated. And you know what? For someone that doesn't know, they would pay somebody hundreds of dollars to make these two lines. Hundreds. Because you're like, oh my God, I want my engine bay to look clean. Oh my God, I want my coolant to be good. I don't want no kinks. So on and so forth. But now you guys know how to do it. And it's all about your tooling too. So if you noticed, everything we used has been compliant for AN stuff. Needs a little bit more. I need to line this fitting up better. Now I can turn it. Uh-oh, gotta go down. I heard it. Yep. One more turn. 360. Let's keep that fitting clean. Right there. That's beautiful. Okay. Wipe this guy up. I already ran this hose through some water so there's no dirt in it. Well, not dirt, but any burnt rubber. So keep the clip going, come on. Let's see how well we did. So I know that my straight is gonna kind of be a little bit harder to put on. So I'm gonna go like this first. Yeah, that's nice. Come on. Come on. And you never want to put your AN fittings on with the wrench first. You have to go in by hand. See, I told you that. Because of the bend that it's going to make. Come on, buddy. You're almost there. There it is. This is where that anti-seize would be awesome. But you know, you put a little touch of anise, it'll be all over the Porsche too. Guys, by the way, that's not a Porsche. That's a Ford Escort with a body kit on it. I ain't got it. Yo, I ain't got it. Trust me, I ain't got it. I'm pump faking out here. I ain't balling. All right. Oh my God, this hose is gonna look incredible. Oh, this is gonna look so beautiful, Seb. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Completely out of the way. I can move it slightly right here. Check this angle out from this side, Seb. We're nowhere near that throttle body. We can make any size intake we want, and we've got this entire diameter to work with. Coolant lines are completely finished on June's car. Dash 16, done the clean way. Everything lines up here. Kept scratching to a minimum. You can barely see any, but this is perfect. That's it. And we kind of got a little bit of flex too. So we're not really like you see the radiator didn't change form. It's still dead straight. So it's not like we're pulling it more or pushing it more. It's completely straight. Neutral position, no kinks in the hoses, dash 16. You know how to do it now. I got myself in a pickle with this car because I can't use anything under the engine bay as far as mounting or anything like that because everything is shaved. So the best possible scenario that I seen was adding an adapter from dash 8 to dash 8, adding this fitting here, which is a dash 8 with an ORB at the end. And what I'm thinking, this is the best I can get. So if I try to put it straight, I'm going to be too close to this. So the best possible way is right about there. But first I'm going to tighten this because I don't want to do that while it's mounted here, because I don't want to snap a fitting. So what I'm thinking, guys, is, now bear with me, I'm going to go 90 on the return, which is dash 6, correct? This is my dash 6 hose from the tank. I'm going to go here, right, give or take, dash 6 here, and a dash 8 straight, and then I'm going to run both the lines down through there and mount it underneath the car to the tank. I should be done. Now I want this to look as nice and clean as possible, so I'm not in a rush right now. I'm going to do a couple of measurements, see how everything starts to line up, maybe take the dash 8. I know that I'm going to use a straight on this dash 8 100%. I can't go 90, I can't go 45, I have to go straight. So I'll take the dash 8 line that I have, I'll make it straight the same way we just did with the AN lines on the coolant. I'll make it straight and I'll start to see how it routes to the back of the tank and how it looks underneath the engine bay. So please bear with me, I will share the information. Dash 8 straight is on. This is the other end of the hose. This is 20 feet, which is obviously way too long, but it's always great to have spares. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell Seb to hold this end because we don't want to scratch the engine compartment because this is a very nice car. So what I'm going to do is straighten this out as much as possible, and I'm going to take the other side of it, which has a rubber cap. Now we can't scratch nothing, right? So I see my return line that I ran from the tank to the front. It's somewhere right here. I want to be on the left side of it. Why? Because my feed is on the left side. So I want to be around here. I just want to get this hose through. I got it. Perfect, right? I'm just going to feed this hose like this. Pause. It's going to curl under there. I got it, Seb. You can back up. You can back up. Yep. Twist. Twist. Perfect. All right, we're going to send this line down. We don't really care about the other end of it. Pause. We know that we need to thread that dash 8. onto the rail. So feeding underneath the car. And let's get this. Now we have movement, right? We have our dash 8. Look at that. Nice and clean. Correct? Okay? Now these two are going to stay together. Now, did I just make a mistake? And I did. I made a mistake. And that's fine. I ran this wrong. I'm going to pull this back out, pause, because I forgot we're tucking everything as best as possible. I'm going to pull this back out. And I love it. I love making mistakes. Okay. Line again. Behind the motor mount. See that? Behind. Because we're working on a nice car here and everything counts. So right back out. Before we make the mistake, let me find my line real quick. Got it. Okay. Keep that line from rubbing on anything, Sebi. Perfect. Dash 8 going underneath the car. I got it. I'll loosen it here to get rid of the kink, right? I can just go like this. Done. Push this down, bolt this up, we'll thread this on. Nice. Sweet. So now this line, at the end of the day, can you see clear right here, Seb? Or you need light? There's these two 10 mils that they didn't fill, which are right here. Can you see them? Got them? Perfect. I'm going to put the lines somewhere like this. In this vicinity, I'm going to clamp them together. Now look what happened to this line, kinked back a little bit. So it just needs one of these moves. So give or take, I'm going to have my line come underneath, out of the way of everything, and I'm going to get them to hold here, and then I'll make my mounting points underneath the car. So the next thing I have to do, ladies and gentlemen, is I have to get my dash 6 on, because this is the look I'm looking for, Seb. This is the look. Like, I'm looking for this look. And I'm going to clamp them together. And we're going to go across. Maybe we'll put 2 or 3 right here so it could look real aggressive. But I think it's going to come out nice. So next thing I'm going to do is get this 90 dash 6 return onto here like this. And I want to run these 2 lines right next to each other. Look at that, Seb. So that might be too low. See that? Now it's going to kind of look crazy when I try to clamp them. So there goes my other dilemma. Do I make the line super tight so where they can hold shape like this? Make the line super tight so they can hold this shape. This is the best I can do, guys. I have no bay. Because normally I would just mount this somewhere around this area, send down a 90, a straight, and then a straight into here. But I ain't gonna lie to you, this is kind of fun, it's challenging, and this is what I was waiting for. There's always room for improvements. I'm gonna go with a 45 off of this regulator. Check this out, guys. If I go 45 off this regulator and I go off the 90, they're gonna be closer to where I can put the clamps. So 90 off the return, 45 aiming down, which is gonna go like that. This is gonna aim this way a little bit, and then I'll be able to get these together using these clamps. So I'll be able to go like this. Nice and clean. Give or take, right? Give or take. Alright, let's make it work. I don't have to take this side off because I'm still waiting for that banjo fitting in the back, but it's fine. I could leave this, take this line out, start from the rear, hold this to the vicinity it's going to be in, move the line up, make my 45, I'm done. Okay, my dash 8 feed, this is going to be my feed and this is going to be a straight. So on my return is a 45 going down, and there's a nice little pocket that you could send the line through right about there. So I'm going to feed it now the complete opposite way. So you remember how we started from the engine bay? Now with the feed line, we're going to go this way for a couple of reasons. We made that one side already into a straight. There's no reason to scratch or try to take it off. So we're just going to send the 8 feed the opposite way. So I'll leave that there for a second, and then we'll be able to cut it in the front, which is much easier to work with. You know what we're going to have to do, Sebi, is we're going to have to take this line somehow and kind of like tie it up here, because our fitting is not here. We're still waiting for our dash 8. So we could either take this fitting, zip tie it. We know that it's going to end up being right here. That's how it's going to look. Feed, return. Feed, return. If you notice, we haven't even been using the vise. So, because like I said, smaller fittings are easier to work with. Like a dash 16 it's not so easy. A dash 12, same. But dash 6, 8, 10, they're decent. You can do them almost like in the engine bay like this. That's it. So I'll take 2 wrenches, right? I'm not going to bore you with that. I'll take the blue one and the black one. I'll tighten this up, and then look. We're in that vicinity. So opted to go with the 45 here. Those lines are going to be hanging out together. Put 2 clamps on there, maybe one here, one right here to hold them up against the chassis, and the fuel system's done. Much nicer. Put the clamps on. It's going to look really good. Okay. So these clamps that come with the kit, they're obviously smaller, because this clamp right here is going to hold both lines for us and then to the chassis. So I need to send a 10mm through it so it could hold on to that factory spot where they left in the engine bay. So I'm just going to drill here until I could see this guy go through. So I need a bigger size. So I'm going to go the next size up until I get the 10mm through. So now once I figure out what my drill bit is, and I always go slow and I never push, and I leave it at 1. Money. So if you're wondering, what I'm planning on doing is I'm going to take the other side now, I'm going to drill that out. Now when I go like this, obviously this is not going to thread in here, it's too small. I'm going to do it with the drill bit, open it up, take a longer hex bolt like this. Shout out to Downstar. Let's just take, for instance, this guy. It's going to go through about there, and then I'll be able to catch the body to hold both lines together. Now you understand me. So this bolt obviously is way too long, but remember, we have to go into the chassis. So I may need something just a little bit shorter than this, and I already see it. I think I already see it. That's perfect. So now when I bolt this to the chassis, it's going to hold the lines up. Let's see how this looks. So remember those 2 holes we were talking about? I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed right now. You know why, guys? I don't have my hex key that I need. I was supposed to have it so this could be much easier and I can thread. Let's get through there, right? Let's bring that S up. Nope. Okay. Oh, I'm almost there. So I'm going to use the longer bolt. And this time I'm coming back prepared, and I will have my my hex key. Okay. That's basically how that's going to work. We have that clamp here holding it. See that against the chassis? We got a nice transition coming up from the subframe up. We got no kinks around. This line sits here. We are going to add, I don't know, maybe 1, 2 clamps. It's going to look neat. I think that looks neat, right? So 1 clamp there. Just keep the camera rolling, Sebby. I got you. We'll do another clamp here. And I think that's it. We'll go about right there. Let's see how that looks. Again, we can move this stuff around, but damn, I wanted to keep this into like a 10-minute vlog. That's not gonna happen. Okay, look at that, guys. What do you think? Wow, that came out much nicer than I thought. How's it look on camera? Yeah. I mean, you understood. We had to get a couple of things done, obviously, without touching any of this. But that's it. So same concept on the bottom, right, guys? What we're going to do is we're going to drill out maybe 3 or 4 clamps. We're going to take them and then make nutserts into the bottom of the car. Hold on 1 second. So here we're gonna run that same concept. Look at that. And I didn't want these to be too tight. I wanted to be able to rely on the clamp. So keep that camera right there, Seth. we're basically going to do the same exact thing we just did. Oh man. We're basically going to do this. What's up with this guy? Is he recording or is he on the phone? You know, that's the old trick, son. Act like they I am an absolute idiot. I could have just went and got my... Yeah, this is not gonna work. I just had the hex key in my hand. Where did I put it? Alright. Here we go. I got it out. I'm just putting this on for nothing, but I'm just trying to explain it. So now, right, give or take, I am going to end up drilling. I have to, right? I'm not under the engine bay. I'm underneath the car. I'm going to drill this out to be a 10 millimeter. I'm going to drill into the chassis. I'm going to put a nice little nutsert right where I need it to be. And then look at that fuel system. So so I'm not going too crazy. 1, 2, 3. Fuel system is complete. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you learned something, show me some love, because I don't think anyone's ever shown you what I just did. Keep gunning.